This is Sybert signing into Carville. Back into Carville, or as I realized that I apparently used to call it, Carville. I used to really emphasize the "vil" as a vile. I don't know why. It seems very obvious that it's Carville, but Carville in the north, kicking off our first player in this 2v2v2. This is Libra. He's Cyan, he's Soviets, and he is teamed with this fellow beneath him as the yellow, also as the Soviets, whose MCV has run away. This is YuNo. YuNo and Libra, a double Soviets team. Meanwhile, on the island in the middle as the Blue Empire, this is Spokes. And teaming up with them as the Purple Empire, this is TheDoc0r. I'm probably going to call him the Doctor, but he is missing a T out of that name. Finally, in the south, as the Orange Soviets, this is Seifonov, who I might accidentally call Sephiroth, but that's okay. And in the south, rounding out our 4 Soviet 2 Empire FF 2v2v2, not an FFA, is FFBD. I did not think I would make it through those intros without the mini-map to guide me. Okay, where the heck did the MCV... Oh, the MCV didn't actually go anywhere. I'm just used to the MCV being in that giant patch of dirt, but it's actually this patch of dirt, which is the spawning spot for the MCV. So we got left edge, then the bottom edge, and then the middle island. And how this is going to turn out, I don't know. I feel like most of the time that I see these replays, if the people in the island are teamed, they get smashed from both sides. They get knocked out pretty easy. But let's see. Spokes and the Doctor, they are playing Empire, and according to some people, Empire is massively overpowered because you can just build Tengus. So let's see. They might be able to overwhelm and disrupt 4 opponents, or it could be that their 4 opponents essentially leave them alone, and Seifonov and FFBD end up fighting Libra and YuNo, and that is that. Now, if you're not familiar with the 2v2v2 format, oh, it looks like everyone cleared out the bridges already, so that's good to see. If you're not familiar with the 2v2v2 format, these are not tip-top 1v1 players. Libra and YuNo do occasionally play 1v1s, and they can occasionally show some good games there, but they are not your Demons or your Happies. Not even really like Andri in terms of level of play in a 1v1, but these are guys who know how to bring a game in a 2v2v2 or sometimes even an FFA environment. These are guys who are almost like specialists in this kind of wonky, crazy, team, weird map layout kind of game. And so oftentimes, even though these guys aren't necessarily your Demons and your Happies, they still provide very good, very entertaining games, and sometimes you do see them pull off some pretty sick maneuvers. And then other times, we question their decision-making. But Libra and YuNo, they usually provide pretty good games. Spokes and FFBD I've seen before, and I don't remember if they were good or bad. And then Seifonov and the Doctor, I'm not sure about, so those could be Smurfs. I could actually have casted those guys before. But I feel like at least 4 of these players I've casted before and provide good games, so I feel like we have a pretty good shot of this being an entertaining 2v2v2. As the Purple Empire, the Doctor comes in here with a big group of Tengus. This is pretty much unanswered. The Tesla coil is a little bit too slow, and now he's a little bit strapped for cash, so that's something that can indeed happen. A couple of MiGs are actually going to be getting caught on the deck, perhaps. They do transform the Tengus rather transform and grab both of the MiGs. So Seifonov definitely getting manhandled there, and this is one of those things where he was either a little bit too focused on his northern expansion, trying to get that up and running, and so he was just hoping that his opponent would not attack him, and the result is he is quite a bit hamstrung here. A couple of Twin Blades going to be showing up for YuNo in the middle of the map, going to be able to snipe a couple of Harvesters, and this is classic 2v2v2 stuff. While one guy is harassing someone else with Tengus, he himself is getting blasted to bits with a couple of Twin Blades. The Twin Blades are going to turn south to potentially continue harassing. One Twin Blade goes down, the Harvester is off the line getting those free repairs, but it's going to be a little while before he actually gets back to work. Refinery going down on the low ground for Spokes. He's also got his naval yard up and running, so he's going to be able to potentially work up to Shogun battleships. I mean, that is sometimes what these 2v2v2s turn into, is just giant artillery battles. The stuff that reaches the longest distance is what people go for. Making a twin blade head south for FFBD. And I am cautious to say this, but if we have a bit of a lull, I have a question for you all. I'm curious in some music recommendations. I listened to a playlist recently which was composed of a whole bunch of stuff that I would not have chose to listen to for myself. I wouldn't have chosen to listen to, and I really enjoyed pretty much all of it. So I'm curious if you guys have any music recommendations. Stylistically, something that got recommended to me this year was Manchester Orchestra, Black Mile to the Surface, and I really enjoyed that. So if you've got a music recommendation for me, please do let me know. I'm curious to hear some stuff that I haven't heard before. It doesn't have to be, like, new this year. Just some stuff I haven't heard before. Something that you legitimately listen to that you think is good. Akula subs from YuNo going to be poking down this refinery from TheDoc0r, and TheDoc0r, who, you know, was doing a bit of harass earlier, doesn't have much in the way of a response. Twin Blades showing up just to seal the deal and finish it off, and 4 Bullfrogs packed along with this Akula sub just to guarantee the kill. And, of course, everybody's favorite cruiser, the Naginata, a.k.a. the Naginatana. It's like a Naginata and a katana got together. You strap a sword to the front of your boat, and you just run over the other guy, and that's the whole strategy. YuNo expanding out to the water, setting up a 4th refinery there, and poised to potentially take a 5th refinery, although YuNo is a little bit low on cash. I'm somewhat pleased to see that we just didn't have like a double Eureka rush from our Empire players in the middle. That would be pretty funny to watch, but the game would be over relatively quickly. And then, you know, double Eureka rush might actually work out really well. 2 guys in the middle, they rush to Eureka, and then they destroy the bridges afterwards, or they destroy the bridges first, rush to Eureka, and then just cross over. A couple of Tengus getting cleaned up there. They cross over, and then they're kind of safe from direct assault. That ore collector needs to get back to work, although, oh, it is actually offline. I thought his refinery had been destroyed, but no. He's still just hanging out there. Libra has taken this expansion into the north, sharing it with YuNo, so YuNo actually does have 5 refineries, even though one of them is way the heck up north. At the same time, FFBD and seifonov are splitting these refineries here on the left side, and the first Dreadnought is indeed out, going to be able to put some damage on to the Doctor's base, and this may not bode very well for the Doctor. And Spokes, who's going to get satellites dropped on his naval yard. Not a good move if you're hoping to build any Shogun battleships out of that. The Chopper VXs are close, but I think they're going to be just barely too slow. One more torpedo will seal the deal. There it is, just barely too slow as Spokes cleans up those Akula subs, but he himself dies. Bullfrogs against Tengus and Chopper VXs. An easy kill there for YuNo. And the Empire players in the middle of the map, they definitely had some good ideas. They had some nice attempts, but they've been sort of unable to really hold anything together for very long. They had some nice harassment attempts there, but it really just didn't pan out. And now, Spokes heading out with a couple of Tengus while he himself is dying horribly back home. He's going to try and kill a couple of Bullfrogs in the north with his Tengus. MCV repositioning from the Doctor. He has been completely scared away from the kind of southeastern corner of the island, and he is going to get pushed back by YuNo, who has finally taken a, I believe, 6th refinery. So good on YuNo for taking 6 refineries in this game as a Soviet player, and at least 4 under the control of Libra. And an oiled Eric, which is always nice. Tankbuster surprise shows up for the Doctor. He was hoping it would be a bit more of a surprise, but it was not. FFBD actually being the one clearing out the naval yard, so this is definitely a combo move, as YuNo and Libra do some attacking of Spokes and the Doctor. At the same time, they themselves are getting harassed by FFBD and seifonov. So it is definitely a case of everyone on the outside punching in towards the middle. YuNo gets a vacuum imploder, but also into low power mode as an oil derrick gets sniped. Satellite's getting called in on the reactor, and YuNo is going to be in low power mode for even longer now. Going to have to reset, maybe drop another super reactor up here or something. At the same time, YuNo is also getting an iron curtain, it looks like. So on top of that, YuNo is going to be lower power for even longer as they add on more and more high energy use devices. Spokes feels like he's done a pretty good job of building up and maybe even getting a force ready to resist his opponents. He's going to catch a couple of Twin Blades, 3, 4, maybe even 5 or 6 before the Bullfrogs are able to scare away these Tengus, and that's enough Tengus that they could actually, suffer a couple of losses and still be okay. Let's keep an eye on that sudden transport, which I just lost sight of. Here we go. Now we're cooking with gas as Spokes is about to... That might be a little bit suspicious, Spokes. Look, I'm not telling you how to play, but I'm saying that looks slightly suspicious. I think this should just be the thumbnail for the video because people will be so confused. Back in the north, it looks like Twin Blade's going to be clearing out a building. Hello, nothing to see here. He spots it immediately and he just destroys it. YuNo clears out the sudden transport with Yuriko. The safest way to kill Yuriko is when she's in a transport and can't do anything. That was a funny attempt by Spokes. You have to give it to Spokes, who at the same time has gotten out a Psionic Decimator and a Nanoswarm Hive. So those are both counting down as well. Libra, I feel like Libra, kind of spanning the globe. He's got a couple of things way down here in YuNo's base and then curved all the way around the top. He's got a lot of dots on the mini-map, but let's see if he's able to do anything with them. A lot of Twin Frog coming out from Libra. It's going to be APOC tanks and V4s from FFBD. And after taking a serious beating early on, Seifonov has maybe recovered a little bit. He's got himself a naval yard. He may actually be kind of splitting himself a little bit too thin. If he's only got the 3 refineries, I don't know that he really has the economy to pump stuff out from like a war factory and a naval yard, and then also potentially build stuff from an airfield. It's just a lot of production for not a lot of cash as a Soviet player. He really got the short end of the stick there. He got harassed early on, and then he ended up with only 3 refineries as we, kind of transition to the mid and late game. YuNo showing up with a couple of APOC tanks, and those are APOC tanks that are not sudden transports. Twin Blade's going to be showing up to defend the Bullfrogs, as their Bullfrog brethren have defended them. A couple of Chopper VXs, a couple of more Tengus going to be showing up for Spokes, but this is an army that doesn't necessarily do super well if YuNo joins all of his forces together. With, actually, no, never mind. Now that Yuriko is here, this army can be cleaned up. Yuriko should be targeted down by the Twin Blades, but will they get slaughtered by the Tengus and the Chopper VXs? The answer is yes, but YuNo also eliminates Yuriko, as that's actually a good gambit, is to draw all of the attention with Yuriko and then clear out the rest of the army. Balloon bomb's going to be coming down, and it looks like the Chopper VXs are just going to sacrifice themselves as the Tengu go for the transform, and the balloon bombs kind of go for a miss of that APOC tank. Meanwhile, in the north, still not a whole lot is happening. It looks like a Bullfrog sacrificing itself. And a good gambit there by Spokes to send in Yuriko, distract the Twin Blades, and then pretty much get a full clear and a cleanup on YuNo's army. The Bullfrogs are here out on the field, but most of the army of YuNo just got cleared, just got cleaned up. I love this, including a couple of Rocket Angels. Are they good units? Not really, but they are so much fun to use in between their, Paralysis Whip and the fact that they just fly around and throw rockets at everything and they look awesome. They're fun to use, but they are functionally useless in a lot of situations. They're not particularly good units, unfortunately, but maybe this is the time and this is the place to see them get utilized. It's always great to see a giant cloud of them just get absolutely destroyed by a super reactor. And that Bullfrog is kind of violating the laws of physics, driving into that Nanoswarm Hive, and the other Bullfrog's getting caught inside of it kind of properly, like a stasis chamber, so that these Tengus can clear out the sky component and then transform down. A nice grab, utilizing that Iron Curtain to kill off the Tank Busters. You might as well. I mean, the other thing you could do is try and use it to keep your Bullfrogs alive. But killing off the Tank Busters also works. 5 more Tank Busters going to be showing up. Chopper VXs go for the transform. 1, 2 fully heroic. Bullfrog's going to be going down, but not before cleaning up a good number of chopper VXs. FFBD has taken this northern section of the map with fantastic Dreadnought presence, but this is a lot of Twin Blades and not a lot of Bullfrogs out on the water. There's the cash back as the Twin Blades unload onto the Dreadnoughts. Goodbye, Dreadnoughts. MiG's finally showing up for seifonov. Too little, too late, as he literally almost could not have gotten there at a worse time, at a more poorly timed opportunity. Bullfrogs showing up in the middle. Are these all Bullfrogs, or are these sudden transports disguised as someone else's Bullfrogs? And it looks like this MCV is just absolutely going to get ravaged by those Dreadnoughts. Not very often do you see that many Dreadnought missiles pouring into a building. And now Tengu's going to be going for the drop on the Battle Lab. I feel like I've never seen the Battle Lab from that angle. This 2v2v2 is actually providing new things to us. I've never seen, I feel like, the back of that that building. V4 almost getting the kill on that APOC tank, but it isn't quite meant to be. Akulasub's finally getting into the mix for seifonov, and he is going to have a lot of Dreadnoughts to contend with. As the V4s from the land, 3 of them actually trading out against the Dreadnoughts. Meanwhile, the Akulasubs go for the kill. Nice control by FFBD. Like, look at this. This is technically stutter step micro with V4s, which is not something you see very often. FFBD and seifonov bringing the pain against YuNo. Meanwhile, in the north, a giant cloud of Tengus going for the kill on the Navy that's up there. The Akulasubs will escape for now, but the Bullfrogs are going to push back the Twin Blades. FFBD and seifonov going to be punching Libra and YuNo, and they could be giving a bit of space to these guys in the middle of the map. Spokes and the Doctors may have gotten the much-needed breathing room that they've been looking for this entire game. And isn't there a crane? There's no crane nearby. The cranes are way far down south next to the starting area, so that's unfortunate because these terror drones are just going to savage this army. They're going to eviscerate this army from the inside out one by one. Again, not something we see very often, and the terror drone even goes for the kill of the conscript. You can suicide your own units, you know, control-click, attack your own units, and get the kill on the terror drone. If the terror drone is not the thing that kills the unit, then the terror drone dies as well. Rocket Angels actually doing something. They show up as a big crowd of Tengus, flies over those Bullfrogs and eliminates the Twin Blades. A great catch and a great use of those support powers by Spokes, or the super weapon rather. Big transform from the Tengus almost certainly to clear out the Bullfrogs, as Spokes is going to be looking for even more damage to really put the hurt on YuNo and seal the deal. A couple of garrison buildings might be the saving grace of those. Oh, the satellite's coming down, but they miss the Twin Blades. The saving grace of those Bullfrogs is actually going to be the garrison buildings, apparently. As that Battle Lab goes down, Twin Blades now going to turn their attention back north, trying to preserve the build radius. FFBD drops a barracks, trying to keep some kind of semblance of control over these ore nodes as his Bullfrogs push forward. A fully heroic Bullfrog against all of these Twin Blades. This is too many Twin Blades for one Bullfrog, fully heroic though he may be, to contend with. And now everything from FFBD has pretty much been cleaned up, even this additional Bullfrog from seifonov. And finally, the War Factory goes down. It gets eliminated there by Libra. Libra, who's done a pretty good job of clearing out this northern section of the map. He really wants to push back his opponents. At the same time, FFBD with a couple of Akulasubs going to be pushing through the canal to clear out kind of a weak spot here. There is a Tesla coil, but I think is a little bit out of range of this naval yard, although this Tesla coil may be able to defend that refinery a little bit better. Gets one shot off before they even surface, but now the Akulasubs are going to clear out that Tesla coil, and apparently have no problems with their double special ability being utilized there. They're like suicide torpedoes. Ultra torpedoes. They didn't spend a lot of time trying to think of the name for that guy. They're like, it's like a torpedo, but ultra powerful. And they're like, well, that's the naming done. What else could we need to do? What else would we need to do? One Akulasub will be able to escape for now. YuNo being pretty severely beaten back on the water. YuNo now reduced to a measly 3 refineries. Such a sad, sad state of things when YuNo doesn't have 6 refineries anymore. This one could be reclaimed relatively easily. Still got 8 grand left in the tank, so that would definitely be worth it. Vacuum imploder, 2.5 minutes left on this countdown. More base defense is going to be going down. The Crusher Crane is here for FFBD, but it's a little bit far away from where all of those terror drones tore his army apart. And the Twin Blades don't even care. I mean, hey, there are flak cannons here, but who even cares? There's even a MiG here, but where are the Bullfrogs to defend against the MiGs? There they are. The Twin Blades draw the MiG into the Bullfrogs, and the Bullfrogs get the kill. There's a couple more Bullfrogs over here with a Sputnik. Again, something you don't see very often. And this little formation of units on the minimap kind of looked like a Yuko icon, the little skull icon, as another Dreadnought gets produced, and he's going to try and trade out against this V4, but the V4 is going for the kill of the Naval Yard, which is the thing that just doesn't move. Twin Blade's going to be showing up and barely not getting a kill, and the Naval Yard explodes as the V4 goes down to the Dreadnought. An equal trade in some sense, but one is a production facility, and one is just a lowly V4. Bullfrogs once again going to be stepping forward. This guy Double Vet almost certainly going to go heroic, as no, the Twin Blades do step out of range, but this MiG is fully heroic, and now it's dead as FFBD steps forward to defend his Dreadnought with his MiGs, but loses them to the Bullfrogs. A nice little touch and go as Libra is trying to clear out the production facilities of Seifonov, but isn't having great success with it. Couple of Twin Blades going to be stepping forward. What are they hoping to accomplish here? As long as the Bullfrogs stay out of range, great use of the Iron Curtain to make the Bullfrogs invincible against these Twin Blades and force the Twin Blades to run and run and run. A new refinery being established for YuNo. YuNo, I think, now up to 5 refineries, back up to a nice, healthy number for YuNo. And still, no one with like a distinct advantage. It feels like the attacks have kind of been rotating on and off of different players. Spokes and the Doctor were getting hit pretty bad, and then suddenly everything turned on Libra and YuNo, who eventually beat back FFBD and Seifonov. Tankbuster Surprise showing up here, and it looks like the Tengus are going to back off for now. The Twin Frog composition is a powerful one, and one that Libra loves, just like Mass Tengu is loved by the Empire players. The Kula Subs looking to clear up this refinery. Both the Kula Subs actually go down before the refinery gets eliminated, so great catch there by Libra. 0 on the vacuum imploder as he has to find the ideal spot to utilize that super weapon. And honestly, it could be just about anywhere. Could use it here to try and clear out these units and do more damage to the buildings, or you could try and use it on someone's base directly. Either one can work. Couple of more Bullfrogs, couple more showing up. And where was it actually utilized? I don't know. Oh, here it is. Way down in the south. He's going to try and grab the super reactor, I think, with the Twin Blades, as the vacuum imploder does big damage to the buildings, but doesn't quite finish them off. He's going to be able to get the War Factory, get the MCV as well, and the super reactor after that. Nice cash back usage. You might as well get a little bit of cash back from this situation. Psionic Decimator ready to fire off again, but the super reactor is left around for some reason. He decides to turn around. He's worried about these double fully heroic tank busters going to be cutting through the base of YuNo. YuNo, unfortunately, not doing a good job of defending the stuff on land. Doing an okay of defending the stuff on the water, but not so much the stuff on land. Flak Cannon now getting targeted down. YuNo having to deal with a Twin Blade in the north. And there goes the super reactor. There goes the airfield as these Twin Blades need to turn tail and run away from those Bullfrogs. In the north, Psionic Decimator clearing out one refinery. The other refinery does survive through the blast. And Twinblade's now going to be showing up. They're going to try and jump on this, but is this really just a bait for the Tengus? They get, no! Nice use of the Nanoswarm Hive to clean up the Bullfrogs and eliminate them from this fight. Meanwhile, the Tengus get the kill on every single Twinblade, and the MCV survives, albeit barely. These Bullfrogs now trapped here, but they are going to get Iron Curtain, most of them, so they can survive rather than just Iron Curtaining the Tank Busters. Satellite's going to be getting called down on this army, and it looks like almost every single one of the Bullfrogs will actually survive this encounter, something that they almost had no right to survive. FFBD now going to be showing up with a little 3-2 Twinblade hit squad, going for the kill of a couple of Harvesters and a couple of Refineries. Meanwhile, at the same time, YuNo with a 4 or 5 Twinblade hit squad going to be attacking seifonov, trying to push seifonov back from the water. There's the cancel of that Refinery. There's the pushback of the MCV. Both teams pressuring each other in similar ways, as the Tank Buster Surprise now going to be going for the Iron Curtain after cleaning up that Flak Cannon. Could just be going for the Refineries instead. Double wall segments going to be going down. The MCV, I think... Oh no, the MCV did go down. That's a catch and a kill in this case. I thought that bear was the MCV for just a moment. 3 Twinblades still looking for damage. FFBD getting a little bit more bold as he got some damage off. But no, the Iron Curtain will stand at least for now. The bear went for the roar, and he can only kill the Tank Busters one at a time, so they may actually get the kill. Oh my gosh! The Tank Busters got the kill on that Iron Curtain despite the fact that there was a bear there. That was a clutch move pulled off by somebody, by Spokes. He sent them down into the hole, into their hidey holes, for the roar of the bear. So that negates the roar. Then he comes back up after the roar, and instead of trying to kill the bear, he just goes straight for the Iron Curtain. It was a bit of a gambit, a bit of a gamble, but it ended up working out. Nice catch of those Twinblades by the Tengus. Now going to be going for the War Factory. Satellites getting dropped as well, as Libra is taking a lot of damage from balloon bombs, from Tengus with Emperor's Rage, and from Satellites alike. Getting pressured from almost every angle. Libra doesn't have a lot of strength left in him, and Spokes has a good number of Tengus. Tengus good at pretty much every stage of the game. And my comments from earlier may actually end up coming true. If Spokes and the Doctor are able to pull this off, mostly just by spamming Tengus, that will be pretty funny nonetheless. There's going to be someone out there who thinks that a 2v2v2 like this is a good representation of balance, and that person, they can live their life. They live in a very simple world where things have very simple explanations, and where anything that you perceive as evidence of your opinion is indeed evidence. But that person, I envy you. You get to live in a very simple world, and things are very nice there. MCV taking a lot of damage as the Twinblade pulls across, and a Dreadnought from the water is doing damage to the MCV. That's like maximum range considering the Dreadnought is half on land. A lot of land-based Dreadnoughts in this game, surprisingly. Tengus flying around the high ground as Libra, still in this game, gonna try and push back those Tengus with like one single Bullfrog. Twinblades running around for YuNo. This is a lot of Twinblades and a lot of Bullfrogs from YuNo, cleaning up the Twinblades of seifonov, whose MCV just got rebuilt and is getting targeted down. One Bullfrog. Can the Twinblades jump on top of the Bullfrog fast enough? No, a second Bullfrog joins him as the first Bullfrog dies. And there is the toxins to scare away the Bullfrogs of YuNo. YuNo still has some strength left in him. He still has some power. He's going to try and jump on the Bullfrog, and he gets it. He gets the kill of the Bullfrog, forces the sell-off of the Refinery, of the War Factory, as seifonov just doesn't have really anything left, maybe not even a naval yard, as seifonov might not actually have any production facilities or any way to get back in this game. And seifonov is going to be our first casualty of war, as FFBD is now engaged in a 1v2v2, and the whole southern corner of the map is about to be free of everything. The MCV is still alive. There is one conscript way far down south, but YuNo is about to turn on this MCV and destroy it. FFBD has been defeated. Our first team is eliminated, and honestly, our Tengu spammers in the middle are feeling pretty good. We can forgive them, though, because they built Rocket Angels, and I mean, anyone who builds Rocket Angels wins in our hearts and minds because we don't get to see Rocket Angels hardly at all. Bullfrog's going to jump on these Tengus. Once again, good use of the Nanoswarm Hive to allow the Tengus to eliminate the Twin Blades completely risk-free, or almost risk-free, as there's like one Bullfrog outside of the Nanoswarm Hive, and it's going to get jumped on. A fully heroic Bullfrog going down there. And you have to hand it to Spokes. Spokes doing this like divide and conquer kind of thing, getting little pieces of the army split up by using that Nanoswarm Hive. I mean, it's got a countdown timer on it. Everybody knows when it's ready to go. And yet Spokes keeps pulling off this same kind of move, almost like a divide and conquer sort of thing. Satellite's getting called in. Wow, it has been a long time since I've seen someone try and use magnetic satellite. It really isn't good. It only works when people aren't paying attention. And in this case, Spokes was literally looking right there, so it was pretty easy for him to see what was happening. Rocket Angels absolutely destroy that MCV. Good use of the Rocket Angels to clear out these buildings when there isn't much to oppose them. And this feels like a good spot to use that Psionic Decimator, is to just clear out all of these Bullfrogs very quickly. The Tengus can transform, but then the Twin Blades may have something to say about it. There's the big transform, and the Twin Blades are not doing anything just yet. There is a Tesla Coil here to do some big damage to these Tengus. And there's the use of the Psionic Decimator on the base, doing some damage, trying to split up any reinforcements and also clear out the buildings as the Rocket Angels just absolutely destroy that Tesla Coil and the refinery. Now the Tengus transform to try and deal with the Twin Blades. The Bullfrogs aren't around to provide support right at the moment of transformation. The airfields are going to be getting pushed back. Libra and YuNo in a difficult spot for sure. And is the Super Reactor going to just kill all of the Rocket Angels? Oh, the answer is no! So many times we see clouds of Rocket Angels just absolutely destroyed by those Super Reactor explosions. And unfortunately, the Bullfrogs getting caught by the Paralysis Whip. Even a Conscript getting caught by a Paralysis Whip as these Rocket Angels just shut everything down. Spokes and the Doctor. I guess the Tengu spam is really what kept them in the game, but the Rocket Angels are what won them the game. We'll say it that way. Spokes absolutely doing some heavy lifting, and Libra not technically out of this game. Well, I guess technically, YuNo also not out of this game. But YuNo functionally out of this game because YuNo has a refinery and an oil derrick, and about to just be a refinery. All right. Spokes and the Doctor, they've cleared out all opposers. They have all opposition. All who oppose them. Might be a better way to say that. They have 2 super weapons, you know, counting down, ready to go. It's going to be pretty difficult to try and pull something off against them. Flak Cannon gets absolutely destroyed there. Rocket Angels just clearing out everything oh so quickly. Even Tank Buster Surprise coming in here. Although one of them is going to get cleaned up by a Tesla Coil. 2 of them get cleaned up by the Tesla Coil. And this is almost all fully heroic Rocket Angels. Wow, can you imagine that? You're just standing there getting... You and your friends are getting electrocuted while Rocket Angels just stand by and do nothing. They could have saved all of those Tank Busters, and they didn't. The cruelty of the Rocket Angels knows no bound as another super reactor goes up in smoke. Crane goes down. Barracks goes down. Reactor. Everything gets eliminated. Paralysis Whip shutting down that Bullfrog. 2 Rocket Angels actually do go down. Finally, the Tesla Coil gets eliminated after everything that's on the ground pretty much has died. Has died. The Rocket Angels finally decide it is in their good graces to kill that Tesla Coil. All right, Soviet team, what is your plan? What are you doing other than just staying in this game and without a hope or a prayer, really? Libra has been defeated. Everything goes to YuNo, and YuNo has been defeated. The two Empire players, Spokes and the Doctor, take the game. Tengu spam is why they started, but Rocket Angels are why they won. And that will do it for this 2v2v2. 4 Soviets, 2 Empire players, and 34 minutes of pretty consistent action. A couple of dull patches in there, but overall, a pretty solid 2v2v2. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And this is Sybert, signing out.